आणि धन्य माता पिता तयाचे. पण आज सुपरस्टार आलाय आपल्याकडे. आणि क्लास सुरू केला कारण सर तसे 1991 पासून शिकवतात. कोचिंग क्लासेसचा पहिल्या बॅचचा विद्यार्थी आपल्यासोबत आहे आज. आणि सर आम्हाला सांगतात नेहमी बसल्यावर, पियुषच्या माघारी पण त्याची आठवण काढतात की सर म्हणतात तो स्वतः इतके क्वेश्चन्स आणि कुठून कुठून शोधून आणत होता खूप वेळा आणि विचारत होता. असा विद्यार्थी माझा आहे त्याचा मला गौरव वाटतो. सरांना गौरव वाटावा, सरांना अभिमान वाटावा असा विद्यार्थी एक आपल्यासोबत आपल्या सर्वांना. मला नाही वाटत कधी पियुषनी सरांचा प्रसाद घेतला. पियुष कुलकर्णी आपल्यासोबत आहे पहिल्या बॅचचा आणि तो जिल्ह्यातून फर्स्ट आलाय. आणि तुम्हाला आता मगाशी जसं तुम्हाला आता सांगितलं की 80-20चा फॉर्मॅट नव्हता आणि स्पोर्ट्सचे पण मार्क नव्हते. हे जे 97.69% जे मिळाले पियुषला, हे सगळेचे सगळे त्यांनी परीक्षेत लिहिलेले मार्क्स पडले. आणि एवढे मार्क्स पडणं ही गोष्ट जवळजवळ ही अशक्य असते, बरोबर. कारण मार्कांचा जो फुगवट आहे तो त्याच्यानंतर आला 80-20 हे ना, आणि स्पोर्ट्सचे मार्क ऍड व्हायला लागले. मग तेव्हा तो अतिशय अभ्यासू, हार्डवर्किंग असा पियुष आपल्यासोबत आहे. पण एवढं सफिशियंट नसतं चांगलं होण्यासाठी. विद्या विनयेन शोभते, विद्या असावी, अभ्यास असावा, पण असले पाहिजे. रावणाचा लेसन आता स्टेटवर चालू आहे. रावण अतिशय बुद्धिमान होता, अतिशय बुद्धिमान. वेदांना त्यांनी हुशारपणे आणि संस्कारीपणे हा त्याचा दुसरा आस्पेक्ट मी सांगतो, बरोबर. आम्ही जेव्हा मधून मधून त्यांच्या घरी जातो किंवा त्याच्याशी बोलतो तेव्हा लक्षात येतं की कुटुंबामध्ये सुद्धा आई असो, बाबा असो ना, किंवा आजी असो, बरोबर, घरातले सर्वच्या सर्व त्यांच्यावर पियुषचं खूप प्रेम आहे, खूप खूप नितांत प्रेम. आता मागच्या 6 महिन्याखाली मला वाटतं पियुष आई बाबांना तो जर्मनीला घेऊन गेला. त्याचं वास्तव्य हल्ली जर्मनीत असतं. पती पत्नी आणि त्याचा छोटासा बाळ प्रल्हाद त्याच्यासोबत असतं. तर त्यांनी आई बाबांना अगदी पायाच्या सॉक्स पासून तर डोक्यावरच्या टोपीपर्यंत सगळंच्या सगळं नवीन घेतलं हे ना, ऑनलाईन मागवून, आणि इथून तिकीट वगैरे काढून बाबांना तो जर्मनीत घेऊन गेला आईला हे ना, परत येण्यापर्यंत. आणि आत्ता पण दिवाळीच्या दिवशी आलेला आहे. अजून आपल्याकडे 28 तारखेपर्यंत, म्हणजे जवळजवळ 1 महिना सुट्टी काढून भारतात आलाय. बरं आला हे ना, पण तरी जुनी नाती ती जपली आहे त्यांनी, बरोबर. आणि म्हणून मला असं वाटतं की पहिला नमस्कार हा पियुषच्या आई बाबांना करणं आज आज येणार होते पण काही कारणाने नाही आले. पिता यस्य शुचिर्भूतः, माता यस्य पतिव्रता, ज्ञानांकुश समाबुद्धी तस्य नो चलति मनः. विदेशात जाऊन सुद्धा भारतीय संस्कार सोडले नाही. तिथे पण दर रविवारी NRIs जे आहे एकत्र येऊन रामरक्षेचं पठण करतात, एकत्र येऊन स्तोत्र मंत्राचं पठण करतात. असा हा जो आहे पिता यस्य शुचिर्भूता माता यस्य पतिव्रता ज्ञानांकुश समाधी शिक्षकांचा जो लाडका झाला सोनवणे सर, मला वाटतं त्याचं जीवन धन्य आहे, त्याचं जीवन सार्थ झालं असं समजायचं. त्यात असे किड्या मुंगे किती जगतात आणि किती मरतात. तो मैं ज़्यादा समय नहीं लूँगा और इससे, क्योंकि इतना इंट्रोडक्शन तो इतना सुपरस्टार के लिए तो होना जरूरी था. तो एका शब्दात सांगतो पुढे, पियुषला बघितलं की मला रामराज्यातल्या रामाची आठवण येते. एवढी सभ्यता, एवढी सिद्धता ही पियुष मध्ये दिसते. आणि जास्त वेळ न घेता मी आता इंट्रोडक्शन थांबवतो आणि स्वागत समारोहाकडे वळतो. तर पियुषचं स्वागत करण्यासाठी मी सर्वप्रथम सोनवणे सरांना विनंती करतो. सर सर्व शिक्षक वृंदाला विनंती करतो की त्यांनी पियुषचं या ठिकाणी स्वागत करावं. आपल्या श्री समर्थ कोचिंग क्लासच्या वतीने आपण स्वागत करूया मनापासून. विद्यार्थी प्रतिनिधी म्हणून मी विनंती करतो युवराजला की त्यांनी पियुषचं या ठिकाणी स्वागत करावं. अजून 2-3 बोला.
तुझ्या जवळ येईल नंतर पुढच्या वर्षी. एक मिनिट
Thank you so much for such a wonderful welcome, and it's such an honor to be here. It's always a pleasure to have interactions with all the bright minds like you. So, Marathi, English, both is comfortable? Yes. Okay, so it's called Minglish now. Marathi plus English, not English. So, the reason I'm here is I thought that there are few ideas, few learnings that I could share with you, which I learned over last decade, you can say. And me being here is in a hope that it also helps you in your journey, right? So please pay attention to every minute that we spend together. I sincerely hope that it will be of some help to you. Okay? So I have put some slides together, and this is what I call this journey so far, Jalna te Germany. So this is easy to recognize that Jalna is written, and that's how Germany typically looks like. Okay, so I will just take a tour of what Germany kind of feels like, looks like. And easiest way to know a culture, know a civilization, know a country is to know how the language of that land sounds like. Okay, so we'll also do an exercise of the German alphabets. Okay. Anybody of you has already learned German? Some basics of German? Yeah. Anybody has? No. Okay. So this is how the cities of Germany look like. The previous slide. This is how the farmlands in Germany look like. I guess much different from Indian farmlands. It's much more discreet. The villages in Germany look like. Okay? This is how villages typically look like. So it was a great surprise to me when I was like at such places and they say this is a village, and I said, where is the village? And I'm not sure if this should be called village. But this is how they keep it, beautiful, clean and nice. So typical definition of village is like the population is less. That's why it's a village, not basically infrastructure wise. So let's do this exercise of pronouncing A to Z. These are the same 26 letters that you know, or I hope you know. Okay. So you say after me. Okay. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, X, Ypsilon, and Z. So this is how the German sounds like. Okay? And this is the longest German word, at least the official longest German word that exists. And it goes something like this. Rindfleisch Etikettierungsaufgaben Übertragungsgesetz. Right? So this Gesetz is law, Übertragungs is the delegation, Aufgaben is task or duties, Überwachungs is supervision, Etikettierungs is labeling, and Rindfleisch means flesh. Or basically beef. Now, just for you to imagine relative size of Germany, it's kind of comparable to just the state of Maharashtra, not even entire India, because entire India is quite a big landmass, just the size of Maharashtra. Maharashtra's area is approximately 86% of Germany. Okay. And what about the population density? Maharashtra's population is approximately 1.5 times that of Germany. And remember, we are comparing the entire nation to just a state in India. Despite of that, Maharashtra population is 1.5 times that of Germany. 83 million is entire Germany, 127 million is Maharashtra. So we are very largely populous country. Right? And landmass comparison 357,000 square kilometers of Germany, and here is 307,000 square kilometers of Maharashtra. So this is my kind of a CV, you can say. So this is 10th board. So you know, this is how I kind of make it as an turning point in life. Things changed. It was an important event to be successful at that time, and thanks to you, sir, that we could do our best at that time, and it's always a thing that I cherish. So I was into music, I'm still into music, and then I was interviewed at a program called Subha Savere, that was at Doordarshan. This is long back, I think 2006 or 2007. And now currently I work as a data scientist in Germany. Okay? So I have another deck of slides which is about AI. If time permits, we will go through it, what AI means and so on. In 2016, I went to Germany for studying masters. Okay, so I did my masters in the field of mechatronics. It's a multidisciplinary field. It means that it will combine lots of different disciplines, mechanical, electronics, computer science modules, and so on. It's a multidisciplinary field. And since then, I have been quite interested in many technologies. I also do corporate trainings and so on. It's been a very interesting journey. There is a so I'm very much interested in websites, apps, and building databases and so on. KD Nuggets is a platform, it's a technology platform. It's mainly a blogging site, and I had won award from them for writing the blog and participating in the competition, and that got kind of viral and people loved it. I had participated recently in Ken Hunda, that's an essay competition. This is a very popular author. I have a photo of him later. So he completed his 20 years into his writing journey, and that's how they conducted a competition, actually, essay competition globally, and then they collected people's articles, and I was selected one of them to be in the top list of the selected candidates. So this is Ken Honda, is a Japanese person. You can look him up on the internet as well. This is my website, and I have a course as well on Thinkific. There is a YouTube channel that I'm trying to kind of build. I have trained a lot of students from US and Australia, Canada, Sweden, France, UK, Germany, and so on. It's been more than 300 students. Recently my book got published. This is how the book looks like. This is he Marathi आहे, data science नाव आहे, आणि this is co-written with a very popular writer called Mr. Achyut Borpole. He was in Jalna also, by the way, for a talk. Then I am currently working in Germany, and we are a sports company. I am into the research and development department, and I love to basically volunteer for any social causes. I'm mainly associated with the Sadhguru's foundation called Isha. So I volunteer there quite often. There is one more slide, we'll talk about it. Then if time permits, we'll talk about what machine learning is, what deep learning is, what is computer vision, what is natural language processing, Python, R, statistics, and so on. So just a broad overview of what these fields are and how they come together in order to create the new technologies that we see around. Okay, so let's now start to the main topic. So there are two aspects. One is career and the other is character. Okay, so we have schools and coaching classes and academies to build career. Okay, but we don't have academies to build character. That's something we have to do by ourselves. We have to put extra effort. This is external. This is something people see, measure, and award you for. But character is something extremely internal, extremely personal. It's something that you have to all the time introspect for yourself and build for yourself. So this is how the broad classification could be. There are things that are internal and there are things that are basically external. So to build character, we can spend hours and hours to talk about it, to how to do this and so on. But there is a simple mantra that I personally try and keep it up, which is stay away from falsehood, jealousy, and hatred. Right? Three things that if you try and keep yourself away from falsehood, jealousy, and hatred. How would you say it in Marathi? Hatred, dvesh, jealousy, irsha, and falsehood is khotepana. Right? So these three things, if you try and keep yourself away from consciously, then the world is much more beautiful for yourself and for others too. And it's extremely important to build character. And another aspect is gratitude. Gratitude is a word you are aware of, being thankful. Yes, just being thankful, gratitude. No? Gratitude towards parents and teachers. Even sir mentioned about this just a while ago. Parents and teachers. Parents is a bit obvious because we are growing up there and we know they care about us and they love us and so on. So parents is much more obvious thing. But teachers is something I always say that it's a thankless job. It implies that they don't get thanked enough or credited enough for what they have contributed to your life. So Teachers are people who selflessly devote themselves, dedicate themselves, and think about you, think about how to push you forward in life. And they are often not thanked enough in my assessment of our general society. So it's a thankless job, and it's extremely important for every one of us to make sure that we have immense gratitude and thankfulness and gratitude in our hearts towards teachers, as much as we could have for our parents as well. So these are the two base, foundation, building blocks, whatever you want to say, that really runs your show. So gratitude towards teachers and parents, and this is just an excuse for always for me whenever I come to India that I get to meet with my teachers and have an opportunity to meet them, thank them, and be with them. So this is a word you would have heard of, samskara. It's a Sanskrit word originally, but then basically it means mental impressions or psychological imprints, mental impressions, right? Samskara. No? So the samskara are basically generated by what you are doing in your mind. Right? It means all your self-study goes in here. This is internal. All the practice sessions or tests that you do, discussions, discipline that you create for yourself, your everyday schedule, this all falls under the umbrella of samskara, or if you're into music, it's riyaz, or if you're into sports, it's the practice that you do, sports practice that you do. It takes immense discipline, right, to create that samskara, to create that imprint, psychological imprint within you. And this is all internal. The reason I'm talking about this is often we only see the other side of the story. In the newspaper, in media, and everywhere, all the great actors, great sports people, scientists, and engineers, and even politicians, and everybody who is recognized outside, even spiritual leaders who are recognized basically outside, has a huge internal sadhana that they have done, huge internal practice. They have spent hours and hours and days and sometimes decades and sometimes even lifetimes to create that psychological imprint that gets manifested outside as achievements and awards, and in your case it could be exam results. Whatever you think, say, and do outside becomes that external manifestation of huge internal exercise of creating the right sanskaras, right? So this is something that you need to work upon, and this is something you have to leave to the larger universe to let it manifest outside, right? So this is what you need to focus, and this is the whole secret to anything you want to achieve, focusing on this side of the story, right? In this part of the region, Marathwada, let's say, we were talking the other day how the other states are doing and how India is doing, how globally the other countries are doing, and so on. One basic difference that I always observe is there are readers and there are not so good readers. This makes a huge difference. What you read is the wealth that you are generating. Now that's kind of that part of sanskara story. It's internal, it's for you. Read as much as you can, read good books. So positive influences from everywhere. For me personally, these are the list is kind of endless, but these are some of them that I kind of value. I find it's very easy to relate to. It goes, to all aspects of life, career management, personal management, and character building, and so on. Some of the names are here, and just to put the photos as well so that you remember if you come across internet and you spend time reading them and read their books especially. So the list kind of goes endless, but these are few of them that I would like to say, I would like to mention. I brought one of them, the Mahatriya Ra, this book, and we will do a small exercise later that any one of you volunteer and you read any random chapter out of this, because you will feel that there is something that is very valuable. It's an exponential thing to read a chapter and imbibe that ideas. Now, so I was just thinking about what has changed now, like in today's world, especially in context of students. No? The revolution that we are at is tech revolution and digitalization revolution, right? Technology is changing at such a rapid pace, and what it means to us in terms of SWOT, no? SWOT, so strength, weakness, and opportunities and threats. This is sort of SWOT analysis. So I've just put one points in each of these areas. So what is the strength now in this age and in this decade or the upcoming decade? It's the access to information, people, and content. So you have access to high quality people, information, high quality content, high quality information, and content that you can leverage upon in your relevant field of activity. So for you it could be studies and conceptual clarity and so on. So you have that now because of tech and digital. The entire world sort of is on your smartphones. This is the strength. Now the problem with this, or the weakness, inherent weakness that it brings, is mindless consumption of it. So it's very easy to get distracted, and the moment you open your phone, it's very easy to get distracted on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever. So the mindless consumption that happens there is the inherent weakness that this revolution brings. So that's where you need to keep yourself is aware that you're not falling into this side of the story, or you're not doing the mindless consumption thing. What are the opportunities with this new revolution? It's kind of diverse careers. Every sort of skill you have and kind of intelligences you have, we will talk about the kind of intelligences that exist actually, brings a future to you. It brings a career to you. It brings potentially a profession to you. And this is now possible because of how the economy is structured. So there is a Gardner's theory talking about multiple intelligences, and we'll explore this point much more, why there are different sorts of careers now, much more easily available to all of us. The threat is when you have too many options to choose from, then you essentially go into analysis paralysis. That means there is too much to do and you end up doing nothing basically, because you cannot make up your mind to do something. That's analysis paralysis, right? And reduced attention span. When there is too much of information all the time coming at you, and that's what basically scrolling does. No? All the time, a lot of information, audio, video is coming at you, and then eventually your attention span reduces a lot. There are even other reasons why attention span is reducing, because of the and why it has become addictive. The dopamine release. Have you heard of this chemical, right? Dopamine. Dopamine is what gets released in your brain, and it gives you a happy sensation. But then there is levels of dopamine that brings you happiness. So the more and more you consume, this level this threshold level goes up and up. You have to consume it more and more to have that enough release of dopamine to feel happy. So this is what this is one of the reasons that goes into this kind of threat. Now let's talk about intelligences, and then it comes to the Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences, why it created an opportunity, the diverse careers, opportunity of diverse careers. So now there are, I think, 9 intelligences that are listed, and naturalistic, so we will go through each one of them. Naturalistic intelligence, it means sensitivity or inclination towards nature, ecosystems, living organisms, animals, and all sorts of living organisms. And the relevant professions or careers could be of biology, farmers, environmentalists, and so on. So everybody who is related to life basically. Existential intelligence, this was proposed much later after this theory, and it implies capacity to ponder or inclination towards deep questions about existence, meaning, the universe. So this goes towards philosophy, theologians, people who study religion, the meaning of life, and so on. Logical mathematical intelligence. This is what we generally learn in school and or in our careers, generally academic careers. This is the most common arena, and that's basically ability to think critically. What does it mean to think critically? It means to think with reason, to look at all sides of the story, the pros and cons, or the way we did SWOT, all sorts of angles to it, 360-degree angle thinking. And thinking critically, that means you can reason and argue and debate and question the hypothesis, right? The question that we are discussing, the topic we are discussing, right? So to the ability to think critically, solve mathematical problems, understand logical reasoning. So you can logically argue things. That's what part of the critical thinking implies. Scientists, mathematics, analysts, right, physicists, this all need huge inclination towards mathematical and logical thinking. Linguistic intelligence. This is about largely literature, ability to communicate, right? Reading, writing, storytelling, effective communication. So writers, poets, speakers, and sort of new career is influencers in context of digital, being a digital influencer, right? Social media influencer. So content creation. So this is linguistic intelligence. Then comes spatial intelligence. Spatial does not mean outside of Earth essentially, or away from Earth, but capacity to visualize and manipulate objects and surrounding also, which could also mean architects, artists, graphic designers, and so on, right? Musical intelligence. This is when you have a knack or a talent for rhythm, melody, music composition, and appreciation for that. Musician, composer, sound engineers, and so on. That's musical intelligence. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence is when you can use body effectively for movement, expressions, and physical tasks, right? So it's relevant for athletes, dancers, and surgeons. Surgeons because you need hand-eye coordination. So that's why you need to have that enough kinesthetic intelligence in you to do the operations. Interpersonal and intrapersonal. Interpersonal is to ability to understand and interact effectively with others, and intrapersonal is to understand your own emotions, thoughts, clarity of mind, to set your goals, to stay motivated. This is intrapersonal intelligence. So teachers, counselors, leaders who need to interact with others and influence them and shape up their lives is interpersonal intelligence. Intrapersonal intelligence is something that everybody needs to possess or develop, because that's fundamental to anything you want to do. So that's about motivation, goals, and understanding your own self or self-awareness. So philosophers, psychologists, self-aware individuals, these are the kind of fields and careers that go into this. Then threat, the analysis, paralysis, and attention span we already spoke about. So what's the solution for that? There could be many things. Sports helps big way. Instead of spending time on phone in the mindless consumption thing, you could do some sports instead. Or it could be meditation, or it could be yoga. If time permits, we'll do some 5 minutes of meditation. And before we move on, maybe anybody of you could volunteer, and then we read quickly one chapter. No? So reading books is one thing, the meditation sports is another solution. So let's read quickly one chapter. Anybody could volunteer? Just read.
If you are happy in life right now, it's not because everything about your life is necessarily going right, but because the relationship that really matters to you the most is going great. If you are unhappy in life right now, It's not because everything about your life is going wrong, but because a relationship that really matters to you the most is not going great. Relationships are like seeds. They have to be nurtured and developed. Expectations are like weeds. They grow on their own accord. When enough investment goes into building a relationship, the expectations in that relationship can be managed. When a relationship is left neglected, then the expectations in that relationship shake the very roots of the relationship. Our problem is growing expectations in stagnant relationships. Let us use the metaphor of a saving bank account. Deposits build the reserves in an account from which we can withdraw. But we can withdraw only the extent we have built the reserves. Similarly, withdrawals in a relationship are possible only to the extent we have made deposits in that relationship. In a relationship where there is sustainable emotional reserve, mistakes will be tolerated and forgiven. The meaning will be understood even when communication is inadequate, and your intentions will be appreciated even if you are and your intentions will be appreciated even if you fall short in your actions. In all the relationship, we be good because you are considered good, and you are considered good because of the deposits you have made to build the emotional reserves in that relationship. However, there are some relationships which are taken for granted. The permanence of the relationship is assumed and nothing is done to nurture the relationship. Expectations continue to rise, but the investments needed to build the relationship are not made with the same continuity. The emotional reserves are overdrawn. In such a scenario, you will be held an offender for every word you speak. Every move of yours will be judged. Verbal battles and slammed doors will become regular occurrences. Neither will your actions be appreciated nor will your intentions be respected. Such a relationship is like walking on a minefield. It blows up anytime and many times. The solution is simpler than simple. Deposits, and many more deposits. No active relationship can be free from withdrawal, but we can always make enough deposits that on which you invest time grows. Relationships have to be nurtured with the investment of quality time. Take time to listen and to understand. As often as possible, communicate to be understood. Make your love visible by being expressive and demonstrative. Seek to give but also be graceful in receiving. Receiving is one way of showing your respect for the giver, and it is a huge deposit. Deposit by deposit, build a great relationship and thus earn your happiness in life. Mythology shows that even gods had problems in relationships. Here is an opportunity to be one up on God.
Thank you. It's basically getting impacted, getting changed, getting shaped up by the upcoming wave, and that's the wave, of AI, artificial intelligence. So what is AI? What should we imagine if we, if this term comes to us, what should we imagine? And this is the way I feel AI could be summarized the best. So two terms, artificial and the intelligence. So intelligence is the part where we have seen also actually just a while ago all the different types of intelligences. So the ability to think, learn, act autonomously, that's what the application of intelligence is, right? Or that's what intelligence is. So AI refers to development of computer systems. So in terms of the artificial aspect of this is what we are trying to achieve is to the computers or computer systems or the network of computers that can basically do meaningful tasks or complex tasks that typically require human intelligence, right? And this could include learning, reasoning, makes us, intelligent human beings. And when the network of computers are able to demonstrate such abilities, that's where it falls under the umbrella of AI, artificial intelligence. So it's not merely a tool. The way we use, let's say, calculator, it's sort of a tool for us to calculate something or do the maths, or using this microphone to basically amplify the sound. So far the technological inventions that we have had are basically seen as mere tools, but AI itself is now a tool generator. It's an intelligence generator in itself. So it's a very distinct class or distinct species of tool in itself, or distinct kind of a revolution in itself. No? AI is not merely as a tool, but a new digital species in itself, capable of companionship, collaboration, fundamentally changing how humans interact with technology. So it will be more like a 24/7 companion to us in coming times, right? Every gadget that we use will be capable of certain intelligence. It could be processing audio, it could be processing video around us, it could be processing different languages, right? A person can speak Chinese, and the other person, if doesn't know Chinese at all, he can still get a live translation, done simply to earphone or through a microphone or so on. So the language processing part of it, right? We have already seen a lot of interesting. So nobody in the world was able to beat him in this, right? This was considered a landmark and breakthrough. We have seen text input being converted to an image output, right? Similarly, text LLM, large language models, so processing all our natural languages, which means Marathi, Hindi, English, Japanese, Chinese, all the natural languages that human beings speak. Code generations, so all the codes that we had to learn for years and years is generated by AI for you just based on the prompts, the input. If you tell the logical flow of things, there is a relevant code generated for you. So large language models are able to do code generations, meaningful chats, right? Meaningful conversation with AI systems. So reasoning, decision making, improving from data, or learning from data, or getting trained from data, and taking actions without human interventions. These are the three bullet points that wherever you see that a computer system or a network is doing, that means we are talking about AI. Right? So reasoning, decision making, the alpha will be we just saw. So optimal strategies to play this game. This is a relatively difficult game to learn and beat the best player in the world. So the AlphaZero, the chess AI, could do that. Financial trading algorithms, which stock, which shares to sell and when to buy and so on, instead of a human being making this decision, the algorithms can make this decision much faster, much quicker, and much more accurate. So this is a decision making. IBM Watson is one of the examples for medical diagnosis system to accurately diagnose and suggest treatments based on the images, scans of the brain or the MRI scans and so on. Looking at the data, how to make decisions about the treatments or to even detect malignant cells, let's say for cancer, malignant cells, benign cells and the malignant cells. Improving from data. So constantly learning, and that's what our life is about. We keep on learning new things, new skills, classification of different things. So we learn from the data that we visually perceive or with the audio or from conversations and so on. So learning from the data, that means identifying patterns, analyzing behaviors, and improving or recommending from that learning, from that new data. So application goes in recommending movies, songs and so on, right? Even when you watch YouTube, it's being constantly recommending you in a very customized way or even personalized way based on your, there are many factors, but one of them is historically what you have been watching and what your inclination is, what your age group is, what is the demographics, what languages do you watch. So many things goes into basically deciding what's the next video, next reel, next shorts that is popping up at your screen, right? So this is a recommendation engine based on the learning over the period of time, right? Speech recognition, Siri, Alexa, we can already give commands and necessary action is taken. Self-driving cars. Now this is also already implemented in few selective cities. There are many challenges about this, but driverless cars is the future in coming times. We don't know when it will come in Jalna, but never know. So act autonomously, that means take actions without human intervention. And this also brings us to the ethical moral side of things, where should AI systems make decisions autonomously without the necessary moral assessment behind it, right? But anyways, delivery of packages and survey without human pilots. So drones can do that. Smart farming is one of the important aspects is using drones to analyze the farm to know where there is more, let's say, moisture, where there is some sort of need for a pesticide or insecticide and so on, right? So robotic process automation, data entry, document processing without supervision. If there is a repetitive pattern, can it be automated? Robots in manufacturing. A lot of manufacturing units are now autonomously run by a set of robots that can do the production, right? So this is already a reality. Just a brief overview of things. You will get to hear all these terms, AI, machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, generative AI, deep fakes, and foundational models, and so on. But this is how you can always conceptually keep a clarity of how things are. So AI, as we saw, the general umbrella term for everything that we see that where there is an intelligence involved or any of the decision making and learning from the data, taking action autonomously or suggesting is involved. So anything that is equal or even better than the human intelligence falls under the AI, that's the goal of AI. Okay. Now machine learning is about pattern recognition, identifying patterns and learning through it. That's machine learning. Literally, the machine is learning through the input and output mapping, right? You give inputs and you also show the outputs, then it figure out the pattern that fits to this mapping, right? Deep learning is where there are neural networks involved. A neural network is just mimicking how our brain works, which means the network of neurons and how it gets fired and how it learns to do classification or regression, that means predicting values, numerical values, that's regression. And foundational models, this is the most recent development. So something around 1950s, AI was already shaping up. not many people had heard of this, but this was already a research project. By 2010s, machine learning, deep learning came up, and by 2020s now all these foundational models under which generative AI, that means generating text, audio, videos, is all up. That's what all the generative AI is all about. And deep fakes, it simply implies that it can modulate or it can mimic somebody's sound based on the audio and video and facial expressions and so on, and it can generate videos just like the person could have done. So there are a lot of positive and negative implications of such technology, but that's the overview of things. I hope it was helpful to you.
पियुष साठी एकदा जोरदार आपण अशा पद्धतीचं 1 तास सेशन जर पियुषला घ्यायचं असेल, थोडं कमर्शियल व्ह्यू जर थोडा बघितला तर लाखो रुपये त्याची फीस 1 तासाची होते है ना. पण सरांची कृतज्ञता म्हणून, ग्रेटफुलनेस म्हणून आपल्यासाठी तो आलाय आणि हा सर्व सेटअप तो घेऊन आला आणि त्यांनी तयारी पण केली 2-4 दिवस, बरोबर. त्याच्यामुळं काय असतं की काही पेरेंट्स असे पण आहे पियुष, 2-3 वर्ष शिकून जातात, मुलं मेरिटमध्ये येतात, पण ते पेरेंट्स पण येत नाही थँक्स म्हणायला आणि ते स्टुडंट्स पण येत नाही. तर अशा काळात तू एवढ्या वर्षांपासून संपर्कात आहेस, ही मोठी गोष्ट आहे. आणि नेहमी आला तो की नक्की भेटायला येतो, फोन करतो. यावेळेस त्याने आमच्यासाठी गिफ्ट्स पण आणले, तर थँक्यू फॉर ऑल धिस. मला माहिती आहे की इथून पुढे ब्रह्मदेव आला तरी तुम्ही त्याचं ऐकणार नाही, कारण 8 वाजून गेले आता, बरोबर. इथून पुढे आपण जास्त वेळ नाही घेणार आहे, कारण तुम्हाला न्यायला पण आलेच असे है ना. तर खूप खूप आभारी आहे मी. आणि पियुष, मी तुला ॲश्युअर पण करतो की ह्याच्यामधले बरेचसे चेहरे असे की ते खूप मोठे होतील आणि आपल्या आईबाबांचं खूप मोठं नाव करतील, खूप मोठं नाव करतील. आणि ॲम्बिशियस आहेत खूप जण याच्यामध्ये, आणि एकही जण आपल्या आयुष्यामध्ये निकामी राहणार नाही असा मला विश्वास आहे. कारण ह्या सर्वांना मी शिकवतो, बघतो म्हणून. शेवटी जाता जाता एकच आहे, कोणाला जर काही विचारायचं असं वाटलं तर जे सायकलीवर आले किंवा प्रायव्हेट व्हेकल त्याच्याकडे आहे ते थांबून विचारू शकता, कारण सर्वांचा वेळ आपण
पियुषला काही प्रश्न विचारायचा कोणाला, तुम्हाला तर पुढे जर्मनी कुठं काय करायचं जायचं असलं तर नाही. हा बिलकुल सर.
They are totally confused. There are so many options nowadays. There are so many classes nowadays after 10th. So, and there are so many entrance exams. So basically they lack proper guidance. Even if we give as a teachers, still their parents' expectations are different. More than that, they are pressure. They have become pressure cookers of the society, of the parents, everywhere. So the problem is, and one more thing nowadays, that are Indians safe in Germany? Because there are some incidents, 2-3 incidents. So which country is safe, and what is the way if they want to go abroad? So which coaching they must go to, which classes? The very first thing they must learn German language. I do say them that there are so many things. Okay, and one more, my personal question. Is Hitler respected there or not?
सर इतिहासाचे, त्याच्यामुळे त्यांनी शेवटी इतिहासाला प्रश्न.
I think there are many questions there, but we'll take one by one. I think the first one is about what happens or what should be the career trajectory, what are different options for career after 10. So see, first of all, now the age we live in, it's not about one career. A person can have 2, 3, 4, 5 careers. Now let me explain what I mean. The world is become multidisciplinary. That means, let's say you are a psychologist, but you are very good at also digital content creation. That means you can pack two things. You can run your own YouTube channel explaining the concepts of psychology and so on. At the same time, let's say you are very passionate about cooking. That means you can run your, culinary school or run a restaurant and so on. So there are multiple skills and intelligence that you can pack together and build your career. So it's not just about doing one thing, or over the years you can evolve and do different things. Okay, first of all, keep this in mind. So the age is gone where if you're a doctor, then you're a doctor and nothing else. If you're a lawyer, that means you're a lawyer and nothing else. Those days are kind of gone. So the question is, maybe immediately you choose something after 10 based on your whatever, the admissions, the nearby possibility, and there are so many factors that go into in the career choices you make. But keep in this mind that you are always free to explore so much. So what you can work, so the career choices you can make is hundreds and millions of choices is out there that you can do. But what really matters is you yourself, implies all the things that we spoke about. You are the constant thing in all this evolving landscape of landscape of your life, right? So you need to constantly work on yourself. That is one thing. Learn the fundamental skills, right? Fundamental skills which are communication, your reading habits, the character building that we spoke about. These are the things that will push you forward and also help you choose rightly. Then always know the kind of intelligences that you need to work upon, that you already have, and then you know what choices you want to make. The other side of the story you mentioned is about parents pushing students into certain directions. So see, the decisions of parents is one thing, but their intentions are always good for you. So first of all, learn to respect that. Learn to see that, ask right questions to right people and choose between should I do A or B or C. No? But parents are people who are willing to support more than their own life, their own ambitions, and their own aspirations to push you forward, right? They love you more than themselves. And that's what you should basically respect. The intentions is what you need to learn to respect at the first place. Second thing, there could be fear. No, let's not go into the option C because it's really expensive, it may not work and so on. There could be many things about it. So that you can figure out with right people, and you are sitting amongst people who are very supportive. Now take my word for it, because I have personally also, financially also. So everything can be solved. There could be financial problems, there could be logistic problems, there could be information problems and so on. This all things can be addressed. What you need to basically do is work upon yourself with all the things that we spoke about. Have gratitude in your heart for your parents and teachers, and rest of the things will fall in place, right? So nobody can make a choice for you, and there is no such thing as a perfect choice and a right choice and the only choice. Life goes on evolving, and you need to keep making right choices at every turn of your life and shape it up, right? So now, as I said, there is economic feasibility to so many careers, but dedication is common. Dedication is common in whichever field you choose or whatever activity you do, how religiously you do it, right? And how beautifully you do it, how much heart do you put in, and how much time, efforts do you put in. It's common in everything. No? So it goes in everything that you do, every activity you do. The way you sit, the way you speak, the way you think, the way you read. No? In everything you can put an extra effort. There's a very nice little story. So how do you make a lime juice? You see, the basic ingredients are same. You take water, you take salt, and you take lemon, and stir it up and so on. But everybody will make a very different concoction, very differently tasting lime. So the ingredients, the material is kind of same to everybody. Little bit more here, little bit less there, and so on. But it's available to every one of us. The opportunities are there with all of us equally, and they keep coming over the period of life. It's just that you need to, play it right, play it religiously, right? The other part of the question is, how about Indians in Germany? Is Germany in general as it stands today? Because it's a law-abiding nation. It's really a law-abiding nation. Now it's a great surprise when basically people go there either as a tourist or to live there or to explore things there, to see how clean the roads are, how everybody is following the traffic rules. So it's a surprise to many people. But this is really a law-abiding nation. So yes, it's basically still great places to live. And the question was about Hitler. So Germany, at lots of places there are basically the victims of what happened, the catastrophe that happened at that time. So all these monuments are there across Germany. No? There is in Nuremberg there is a sort of, they were kind of creating a kind of a parliament actually. So it is half built, half broken, half built, and it was under construction. That is also preserved. So people are very, not in everyday conversations I would say, but all these things exist there. They are sort of preserved. They are sort of museums. People go there. They are tourist places, and the catastrophe that it brought is there in the consciousness of entire world as such, but at least more prominently in Germany, and people say that democracy is extremely valued. Democracy is extremely valued compared to other form of government, let's say dictatorship, right? So, and we as India are the largest democracy in the world, and we need to keep this enthusiasm, the democratic principles, we need to uphold them very religiously. And this is how Germany also looks at basically what happened in the past in Hitler and the lessons learned.
चालेल, आपण थांबूया आज, आणि सर्वांनी आता मनात निर्धार करायचा आहे की आपल्याला सुद्धा काहीतरी बनायचं आहे. धन्यवाद.